tied up, and this first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow. Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We are live from the Ridgewood Country Club in Paramus, New Jersey, bringing you the 2026 Ridgewood Classic with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corians. Tournament support has also been provided by the following local sponsors: Ridgewood Country Club and Xenon Paddle. I'm Steve Sullivan along with Anthony Cosamato, bringing you the men's final with number 1 seeds Guillermo Nunez and Alvi Regalado versus our number 2 seeds Tommy Gregurovic and Tina Ostojic. Our chair umpire for this match is Mike Yahimski. Anthony, welcome to the stream.
Welcome, Steve. Thank you. Let's do a quick rundown of how our competitors made it through to the finals. Steve and I had the pleasure of sparring the Gregurovic, Ostojic, Ostojic match against Coutinho and Moyo. It was a good match. Really good points the whole way through, but Gregurovic and Ostojic won pretty handily. And on this top side of the draw, Nunez and Regalado, 6-2, 6-1 over Friedrich and Beauclair. Let's give a minute to Mike Yahimski as he calls out the players. Okay, Regalado and Nunez will receive. We'll see who starts serving first.
Yeah, quick look at the players here. It should be an interesting matchup. I'm going to call it football style that Guillermo Nunez is on loan from Mark Powers, and last week Guillermo teed up with Jose Salazar. This week with the other part of that matchup, playing with Alvi Regalado. Yeah, it should be interesting. We were talking a little bit, Anthony, in the pregame about, you know, whether or not Nunez and Regalado have played together before. It doesn't look like it from the most recent history, so it'll be interesting to see how those two play. Of course, Gregurovic and Ostojic, long history, and it looks like Tina Ostojic on the near side to serve.
In case some of our viewers didn't hear the original introductions, you have Tina Ostojic in the blue shirt on the lower end of the court. On the left side now, his partner, Tommy Gregurovic, in the darker clothing on the right-hand side near court. And on the far side, in the white top, Alvaro Regalado goes by Alvi, and his partner Guillermo Nunez goes by Guy.
Yeah, so 2 out of 3 sets, no ad scoring server's choice. This is a new innovation this year by the APTA. Anthony, you mentioned it at the onset. We call them men's semis. It comes into play, right? It adds a little excitement for the viewers. Maybe it shortens the match a little bit, but it's definitely, you know, a showcase for who can play under pressure, who plays the big points. Sometimes it's about patience, sometimes about pulling the trigger. Should be very interesting. This is, if nothing else, going to be a lot of talent on the court, some big shots, likely some excitement. So I think we're in for a treat tonight.
We're definitely in for a treat. Guy Nunez is already trying to create some havoc. That's what he does. He loves to chip and charge. He loves to be a presence. He presses the middle of the court to force you to try to hit at him or around him. But we also see that Gregurovic likes that same style play, chip and charge. He likes to have to be a presence as well. So we'll see who can do it better. And we did talk a little bit in the last match about the discipline of Ostojic and Gregurovic. That's been getting better and better throughout the season and throughout their career. They do get emotional sometimes, and they ride some ups and downs, so we'll see if that plays in as well. Quick first game. I don't suspect that Nunez and Regalado will have coverage challenges.
Yep.
They're very familiar with each other's games. I'm not sure if they play together socially or otherwise, but we'll keep an eye on that too.
Yeah, Gregurovic, Ostojic, this is that team that, you know, they can play a set as good as any other team on the tour. Can they do it for 2 sets? Yeah, it remains to be seen. But yeah, it's going to be super interesting to see sort of how the dynamic of this match plays out. Funny enough, last week I mentioned Salazar teamed up with Nunez at Steel City. Salazar played his home side in deuce. Nunez played ad as a lefty, which is a little bit not traditional for a lefty. This week, you know, he's playing deuce, probably more comfortable. And of course, this is Alvi Regalado's side. You see him there in the near side, ad court. Yeah, I suspect they're going to gel really well. And of course, I think it's going to be like we saw in our men's semis, Anthony. It's going to be about the team that sort of plays the big points better.
Absolutely.
Not sure it's going to be a match of patience. I tend to think these guys are going to be going for their shots and, you know, trying to win points. But yeah, let's see how it develops here.
I think Regalado is the only one really with the capacity to have some patience as he swings and takes a shot he probably shouldn't have, but I've seen him be very tactical and patient, certainly when he plays with Salazar.
Yeah, we think about, you know, McNerney, Morgan, a very patient, slow team. Graham McNerney, one of those people who can play all day. But in the last 2 years, I think Salazar and Regalado, to your point, have been one of those teams that slowed down the pace. They obviously have the athleticism to stay out there for 4 or 5 hours and the tennis skills to sort of create or not, right? They really started hitting these soft push volleys. Well, went for the ATP there, just missed it. That was a little bit their style last year. I think this year they're playing a little more. They're going for their shots a little more. It's a little more offensive. So yeah, he's got the ability to sort of go very slow, very patient. Of course, Nunez does as well. But there's just a lot of talent. This sort of lefty setup with Guillermo Nunez, right, moving over there, taking 80% of the court. He has the ability to do a lot of different things with his slash overhead. So, you know, is he going to be the one that sort of goes after Ostojic for the, you know, the majority of this match? I think it's likely one of the setups that we're going to see quite a bit.
Guillermo Nunez relies very heavily also on that shot where he moves to the middle of the court with the overhead and then slashes it back towards the ad court as well and keeps it deep on the court. It's a really tricky shot. So I'm sure he'll keep Ostojic honest in the deuce and slash back to the ad court when he can.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. There have been a couple maybe 50-50 balls, and when you have a lefty-righty and the option of who wants to take it, you tend to see very quickly the person who goes signals perhaps which side of the court they want to attack very naturally with that inside-out overhead.
Right.
This, you know, the last couple points, Nunez has left it for Regalado. A little bit different from what I was sort of saying was potentially one of the rhythms. So it appears they're going a little bit heavier towards Tommy Gregurovic in this first service game for Nunez. But now they're switching it up.
That's the shot I was just talking about there. That's just such a deadly shot. And I think a lot of people, I want to say even way higher than club level players, don't realize how hard it is to hit that ball, to let it drop, to get the cut on it, and to send it deep back the way it came. It's a very tricky shot. Not many people can do it.
No, Nunez has it. Righties, you've seen someone like Russell Benkheim's got that sort of the same shot for the opposite side of the court. I really like Russell's. Nunez, it's a masterclass. You do see more and more people attempting it. It's almost one of those offensive shots, Anthony, that is a little bit newish in the last couple of years, and it's a kill shot. I mean, if it's executed perfectly, it's virtually unreturnable.
Yeah, the one he just hit was a foot away from the baseline, almost hit Gregurovic in the foot as well, and yeah, almost unreturnable. And even if it's shorter on the court than that, you're not hitting a solid return on that ball either way.
You saw that other sort of pick-em ball that Regalado sort of stepped in to take it.
Yeah, they're going to have to work through that, and lefties and righties, no matter what, no matter if they've been playing for a long time or not, will always lean towards that middle ball. It's just natural, but you have to decide, and I think you touched on it a little bit, Steve, about what's the game plan. If the game plan is to try to target Gregurovic a little bit more, then yeah, you're going to defer. Whenever we get in that transition and the ball's moving from left to right, you really want Alvey to step in and take it when it's a pick'em, so that you can keep with your plan, and that's working the ad court player. But it's not always as clear as that in the middle of a point.
All right, this is Tommy Gregurovic in the far side serving. Guillermo Nunez or Guy in the deuce court, the lefty. National champions from a couple years ago at the Country Club in Brookline, Mass. with Mark Powers.
There's Alvey's version of that shot as well. 1-2 punch.
Really nice ball, just almost flattened it out. Short backswing came through. Not a lot of spin, but just cleared the net. Another leg court. Really delicate hands there by Alvey Regalado.
What a great placement of that little short ball lob by Nunez. Really the only shot that would have pushed him off the net there.
That's sort of the interesting thing about, just a little miscommunication there. What a point.
Yeah, he called it a second late. It was the right shot.
Yeah.
Gregurovic just standing there, but.
Yeah, so you have Nunez, Regalado, Salazar. You know, the most impressive to me is not the racket skills and the big shots. It's almost how quickly their paddle IQ and their shot selection, their patience has very quickly come into the game. So it's been a great addition to the APTA Tour. And honestly, I think they're still getting better and better. So this is exciting and super interesting to see, the different pairings that we get. Sometimes Enrique Pardo de Andrade kind of mixes in with Salazar. I think he's also potentially played with Nunez and Regalado. There's a lot of interesting combinations that some of these new young players are bringing to the game.
And you're right, the level of these guys, the IQ is, you think it stops at some point, that you just know what you need to do out there, but it keeps going. And like you said, there's court positioning and there's ball placement, right? And these guys, they make these decisions so quickly, even on the defense or on the run, are moving from left to right, and they're deciding where the best place to put the ball is, and then they can execute that. A lot of us kind of know where we're supposed to put the ball, but we're hitting a ball in a 6-foot radius, and they're hitting it in a 2-foot radius. They're very precise.
Trying to get the score straight here. Little cat and mouse pickle point.
Yeah,
Here we go to first sudden death, sudden deuce point of the match. It's Yeah. Also hard to explain how delicate some of those balls they're hitting, just doing whatever they can not to get in trouble, put it up too high. And sometimes it's the first person who goes for it gets an advantage.
Right. You and I said this a little bit at the beginning of our last match, Steve, about the importance of these points. We touched on a little bit at the beginning as well, that the nature of the points don't really change. These guys still take smart shots, whatever. They just kind of wait. They're just a little bit more precise about when they're going to pull the trigger. They move a little bit into a higher percentage zone, a little bit safer, because everyone's realizing that these matches that we saw last time, I think we had 4 or 5 sudden deuces, and the team that wins more of these sudden deuces winning the match. And there you go, first one.
Yeah, that acronym swinging volleys, we call it. But listen, there's a lot of body shots that happen on those rollers, but it's the right shot. And in that case, you know, if you're thinking about the dynamic of that point, Gregurovic was a little bit out of sorts. He moved forward, he moved back. He was sort of not, you know, positioned properly, and I think Regalado just picked up on it and went right at him. And, you know, challenge number 1 is getting out of the way, and if your feet aren't set, you know, Tommy Gregurovic just got a little bit stuck.
Alvaro Regalado to serve, up 2-1. As we get to the end of the day here, I just want to recognize all the hard work that the APTA and the tournament directors go through to put these events together. It doesn't happen without a lot of work behind the scenes. Karen Jedlik, thank you so much. Jackie Cameron, Ann Waldron, all those guys on site, boots on the ground, keeping us all in order. So thank you for all of that. Our tournament director, Louis Vauclair, and his assistant, Daniel Blasco, assistant tournament director. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of volunteers, a lot of sponsors to sort of put everything together. So yeah, great job. Another great week. Heading into this fast start, the second half of the APTA Tour season. Next week we go to Boston for the next Grand Prix of the season.
First of the new year.
Really nice get, just, yeah, didn't let that ball get down. Goodness. Now, he may have an advantage of being so low to start with, but just looking at how Guillermo Nunez loads those legs, he can hit it so low through the court. I'm not sure if that hit the snowboard, but, you know, we lost it off camera on the near side, but that's just, yeah, unbelievable execution of an overhead by Guillermo Nunez. ATP, beautiful. Just patiently waited for that ball to get outside the net post.
Most likely these guys play pickleball too.
You know, it's interesting, Anthony. We see a little bit, maybe some of the women's players a little bit more so, but this, I think for a period, there's a little bit of racket sports discrimination, certainly pickleball. Today, it seems like more people are playing everything. Maybe core, they're playing tennis, they're playing a little pickle, they're playing platform, they're playing padel, which actually is great to see, right? There's a different seasonality to it in some cases, but yeah, sometimes to me the 4 games are so different. You know, different shots, different tactics. So yeah, he may have seen that one from the pickleball court. Nice shot there by Tommy Gregurovic. This is where you see Ostojic, who's serving here, sort of a little more push. He hit out on that one, but he tends to push a little more in the deuce court and go full throttle into the ad to get in that corner. The last one was in net court, skidded a bit. Yeah, he really uses that serve to challenge the receiving person in the ad court.
In the ad court.
Yep.
And you can see how Alvaro Regalado is just, you know, he's not looking to get offense. He's in that corner. He's blocking it with his forehand just to get that ball back. Aggressive shot.
A lot of variability, location from both the net team and the team that's back on the far side.
This is a teaching pro's worst nightmare, Steve. You know, how often do we tell people not to go left and then right and then left and then right? And I always put a caveat in there that as long as you're getting to a screen left and right, it's not the end of the world. Nunez Regalado 3-2, and a quick read from our Corient sponsor. Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2025-26 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at Corient.com.
So felt like an important game. I think Ostojic and Gregurovic need to sort of stay close to, you know, give themselves a chance to sort of get hot and have it matter, right? This is, you know, Nunez and Regalado are not going to give him a lot of free points. They're going to make him earn points. We saw a lot of really good points going to 30, 40, 50 shots in that last game. So, yeah, I feel good that they, you know, are staying tight in this first set. There you can see those legs loading, and he just has the ability to put so much of a different type of spin and pace on the ball. And that ball just absolutely shot off the paddle face of Ostojic.
I mean, it bounced within a foot of the baseline. It just steals all the time away from your racket preparation. I'm not sure there's many that do it as well or better. I mean, his partner is right up there on the list with him. His usual partner, Mark Powers, has a fantastic overhead. Like you said, Russell Benkan can do it. It's a very difficult skill.
So you can see the setup of this point. Nunez is leaving those balls for Regalado, which tells me a little bit, I've said it a couple times, it seems like they're a little bit setting up to really attack Gregurovic in the ad side. Is their sort of default sort of tactic number one. But they're definitely going back and forth, and Nunez, you know, has definitely given his fair share of some, you know, big cut overhead action. Oh,
Yeah.
pull it out of the nick there.
I mean, they've been finding the corner. These points this whole game have been
Yeah.
finding the corners really well. But to your point there, that was probably the most stable overhead pattern we've seen this whole match with, like you said, with Alvaro going over that.
And it's almost, yeah.
You could see Nunez was in the doubles alley, so just standing there. So he was not even thinking about taking those balls.
Yeah, so that's the one you can see. Nunez walking to the net. He knows that that's Alvy's ball, to me, because he knows the attack plan is to go to Gregurovic.
Exactly.
But they're going a little bit back and forth. But if I was to guess, well, great hand there. A little bit of stuck in the eye, but Alvy Regalado with just really nice soft hands.
First time we've seen Alvy take a blitz there, but great time for it.
Yeah, great time. This is Alvy Regalado. The dynamic we sort of started seeing last season, and you know, even the season before. Jose Salazar, the traditional partner, very steady, incredible racket skills, and the athleticism of Alvy Regalado was, you know, that thing. He was everywhere. He was all over the court. He was blitzing. He was moving. So yeah, first time I've seen this match, but this is how he likes to play. You know, look for the ball and just pounce. He loves to move forward.
I wasn't sure if Alvy thought that was a live serve. He pounced on it.
Points getting a little short. There it is.
Regalado and Nunez are having a lot. You could tell they're very light out there. They're having a lot of fun, and when they're free like that, they can pretty much make anything happen. They're catching Gregurovic and Ostojic a little off balance, and you can definitely tell their energy level is low. They need to rally a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone on the court except Alvy thought Guillermo was going to hit that ball. I didn't, right? But he just sort of hands to cross court. Alvy was moving almost before he made contact with it, and certainly Tommy Gregurovic just completely, he's just cooked, right? He's, you know, in the wrong spot. Ostojic can't even react to think he's got to play that defensively up in the air to get it, you know, get time back to Gregurovic. But he was, yeah, he was absolutely cooked on that point.
I think that's a great move by Gregurovic to put some pressure there, but phenomenal volley just to neutralize it.
Here, Alvy Regalado yelling "Tuya," which means yours. So he's telling Guillermo Nunez it's kind of like mine, you go, I go. Tuya is the yell for it's yours. So tend to have very good communication. Yeah, you see the body language.
Wants that one back. That's his favorite shot, but he was definitely flat-footed. And like I said, it looks like his energy level's a little low. He needs to stay engaged in this match. Maybe they're going to give up this set and come back next set, but he needs a reset. When you're not ready for your favorite shot, you got to start moving a little differently.
Nice read there. It was the right look for Ostojic. They saw him coming. Put a little bit more extra pressure on that up down. Right move. Gregurovic hit it perfectly in the right spot. It's a little bit far for him to chase, obviously.
A little
But
far.
yeah.
A little far, but he was already on his horse going for that one.
They definitely look, to your point, Anthony, more comfortable, more at ease. They're sort of, as Nunez just sort of scratching the side of his head as he walked off to the alley and coming back. And it looks like they're just enjoying it, right? They're just obviously comfortable with each other. They have momentum. They're winning. But yeah, nice calm.
If you've played paddle for any length of time, you've gotten into some zones where everything just feels calm and comfortable, and you don't feel pressed, and it can change in a heartbeat. But right now they do feel like there's nothing that Ostojic and Gregurovic can do that's going to upset them.
I think it was the right play there by Tommy Gregurovic.
Corner to corner drive.
Good game, great point. You can
Great
see
game.
a little bit of communication there from Tommy Gregurovic. He's still shaking his head. His body language isn't all the way back. He played a good game. He hit some absolutely huge shots.
They
So
played a
certainly
great game.
encouraging. I think you said it. Maybe they're playing for the second set at that point, but at some point you got to turn it on.
Absolutely.
So-
It's good to get, I mean, even if that's the plan, it's good to get some momentum moving into it. But I think that was a good game. I think they still feel like they're in it now. They still feel like they can make some things happen. For a while there, it just looked like no matter what they were doing wasn't going to work.
Interesting. Alvin Regalado, a little bit open on his overhead, a little bit like Drew Broderick, kind of like a lot of arm, almost facing the court. Not quite the, it's not quite the typical way he's been hitting overheads, but
Yeah, he doesn't.
see
have
there,
that
he's just a
really
little bit
exaggerate-
open, a little bit
Yes.
Drew Broderick-like.
Yeah, he doesn't have that big stagger, and he's not really pushing his body through the whole shot.
Moving a little bit quicker.
Yeah, two quick points there. Some light here at 5-3, 3-5.
And you can see on the screen some court director bringing us some statistics. They're on a 5-point streak. Nice spot there. You go right at the person coming in at you.
He did everything right, and Regalado was still able to get out of the way and make the shot.
Oh, and he almost got it. Really like the different looks there. Yeah, Ostojic, he's falling into the zone. You can kind of see his being a little bit more mentally locked in at the moment.
I mean, they've been able to catch Nunez off foot 3 times this game, so definitely a little bit of a change here. Big game. I'm not sure if it was a loose game or just a little bit different approach from Gregurovic and Ostojic. Great game. Two more, more quick games than we've seen from them, but it favored them this time around, and now we're at 5-4.
Yeah, they've come back. They looked disheveled. They didn't look like their head was in the game. It was sort of one-way traffic. If you're going to win this match in 3 sets, which, hey, this is the finals of an APTA Tour event, they're trying to win this match. At some point, you got to turn it on. So, they've played some good points. Maybe a couple loose mistakes that aren't as traditional from Nunez, but he's digging them off his, shoelaces. So, also, much better execution. Obviously, now they're at the end of it, right? They got to figure out how to step up and get back to 5-all and even. Yeah, at some point these balls are going to twerk off the screen. Nice patience and dig there by Tommy Gregurovic. Yeah, he might have missed it.
Wide to me.
Yeah, it looked wide. Mikey Himsky quick on the call.
Yeah. Those ones are always challenging because it's a quick bounce and you're not always looking in the right direction, but it was out. It was a good call.
Oh boy. Just an absolute killer of a shot. I love this, this coming so prominently, this season, because, it's amazing to watch. And I think you said it before, Anthony, it's incredibly difficult to execute. So when they do it, it looks nice and easy, and it's it's like a cutter winner, but really hard shot. A lot of variability in how you have to execute that.
Backhand 2 times in a row, and then a great little lob to expose the closeness to the net.
Yeah, Tommy Gregurovic's backhand, definitely one of the biggest shots in the game. I talk about it a lot because I love his technique. Very short, takeaway and shoulder turn, very balanced. A little bit like Djokovic, just super, super clean. But he doesn't have a lot of opportunities to use it. He tends to use it a lot in his return. So yeah, 2 times.
We've only seen a handful of them.
Yeah.
The 2 matches we've watched, we haven't seen that many.
Definitely doing a good job lobbing pretty deep, but you know, that's the one that's going to be tough.
Great gets.
Come on!
Huge point.
Huge point. Alvy's just hunting at that net and giving Nunez some room to hit the overheads and looking for anything that looks like it's going to float over the net.
All right, double set point here.
That's a nasty shot.
All right, we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here in the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming brought to you by ProFlight and match statistics provided by Court Director.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
The business owners that I'm working with have entrusted Corient in this work because we're really focused on supporting them in their important endeavors. They're functioning every day in their zone of genius, and their expectation of us is we're doing the same. My name is Anna Diaz. I'm a partner and wealth advisor at Corient. When we think about the work we're doing for our clients, we think about first financial, absolutely. It is not uncommon that our very successful business owners and clients are making disjointed decisions. Our job is to provide a proactive strategy so the filter in which they make these decisions is informed. Second is the emotional load. Our clients often are asking themselves, what am I missing? Our job is to remove that mental load so they feel that their strategy is optimized, is simplified, and is executed cleanly. And the third is generational. Absolutely, there is technical design that goes into that, but it is also the thoughtful impact they want to have with what they've created.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Steve Sullivan here with Anthony Casamano at the Ridgewood Country Club with this men's final between number 1 seeds Guillermo Nunez and Alvy Regalado versus our number 2 seeds Tommy Gregurovic and Ostojic. 6-4 in the first set. Anthony, a little bit of a back and forth, a big lead, 5-2. Gregurovic and Ostojic played a couple good games, but just wasn't enough to get all the way back.
Right, and I think they fell a little flat in the middle of that second set, but they gained some momentum coming back. It's tough to climb out of a hole like that against Nunez and Regalado. They're just not going to give you that much room to breathe, but I think they did get some significant momentum in those last couple of games, so let's see if they can carry it into this second set. For those just joining us, the server in the blue, Ostojic, his partner on the far side of the court in black. Tommy Gregurovic serving to Guillermo Nunez in the deuce court, and his partner on the ad side, Alvaro Regalado.
Nunez trying to catch Gregurovic off guard, but just put that volley right in the corner. Got sucked up by the screen.
Yeah, Alvy elevated the risk on that point by backing himself into that corner looking for a forehand drive, and that pulled Nunez all the way into the middle of the court. And they put a ball behind him just enough.
Wow, huge point on both sides. Really good point. Just couldn't get the last one over the net, but you're seeing a little bit of a smile from Tommy Gregurovic. It's exactly.
He's smiling, isn't he? Oh. Uh-oh. Nunez went at him a little bit, and Gregurovic just looked at Nunez. Let's see if it sparks a little mano-a-mano here.
Those are the types of points, you know, we call them sometimes hands battles or that close combat. You love it, but you really love it when you win the point, right? So it can change momentum. It can give you a little pep in your step. Good to see Gregurovic with a smile on his face. He's still hanging the head a little bit, but hey, no time like the present. They gotta find a way to sort of more consistently win points. Obviously not an easy task. Nunez and Regalado, just unbelievable job digging from the baseline, volleying from the net. And I think, yeah, a lot of what we saw, both from Regalado and Guy, was just those really big slash overheads getting eaten up by the corners.
Poke shot there with Nunez on the net. Wow.
Wow.
Gregurovic goes for the handshake. No.
Yeah, too good. I mean, and he just moved. Sometimes, you know, movement's about, you know, intelligence and knowing how the point's developing, and sometimes it's just confidence, right? And I think Nunez just saw it coming and just went to the spot. So yeah, too good.
Huge guess, but I'd say a very educated guess, right? Like you said, he sees that developing. He kind of knows where it's going to go, and then he's going to trust his partner if anything goes south on that shot. Ostojic giving some encouragement there. Let's see. I mean, they won the first game of this set. I always say it's huge coming off of that set.
Yeah, some of the spark we saw in that first set, I think I was seeing Ostojic, you know, start to walk quicker. His service game was one of the turning points when they started getting a little bit back into that first set. He tends to be the encouraging one out there and getting, you know, Tommy G back in, you know, into it, lifting his spirits. So yeah, this is, you know, when you're this close, we talk about in a lot of matches, both of these guys from Zagreb, Croatia, played Wichita State D1 college tennis together. Yeah, good friends, know each other very, very well. So yeah, sometimes you got it. There's a lot more to being a teammate than just playing the points.
For sure. That's the one more shot theory. Just make them hit one more ball, which gets a great short ball, keeps the point in play.
Nice defense and positioning there by Ostojic, right? A lot of different spots, trying to see, is it going to come back to the, yeah, just, there's so much variability with Guillermo Nunez that you're always guessing, how's it going to come off the screen? Is it going to come off the screen? So, yeah, at
pressure.
Some point, yeah.
It is. It's almost mental fatigue working in that corner there.
This is, you know, a lot of press about racket sports, tennis, all these games, how good they are for your health, and part of it is, you know, it's physical, is, you know, preciseness of movement, and there's this mental aspect of all the decision making, all the things you're thinking about. I would say platforms probably 10x that of tennis, and thinking through points, spins, positioning, screens. So yeah, I think you're right. It's mental fatigue. It's at some point you just feel like Nunez is going to get you, but he never gives you two in a row. So it's yeah, tough to figure out.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you don't realize just how quickly the decisions that you have to be made so quickly that, again, the mental fatigue part of it, but you're making decisions quickly, and the best players make the smartest decisions and execute them in a fraction of a second. And when I talk to, players and we're teaching or whatever, we try to break it down into a lot of yeses and nos, so you don't have to overthink something. Like, if this, then that. And these guys do that at a very, very high level.
And this is how hard Regalado and Nunez are going to make it for them to fight back. They're so good. There's so much there. And at some point, as much offense as you have, unless you're the clear dominant, team in this game, there's always somebody who can sort of make it difficult for you. And I think, we talked about it in the green room before the match, Anthony. Gregurovic and Ostojic have had their kryptonite with Salazar Regalado. They're getting, wow, what a backhand there.
Beautiful shot.
And I love back screen moving softly to the side screen. But yeah, this combination of Regalado, Salazar, Nunez, it's been very difficult for them to break through. I think they're close. They have the talent. They, have flashes and sets of brilliance, but, they're going to have to keep grinding. They got to 3 sets last week. We had 3 in the third against Nunez and Salazar in the Steel City final.
I mean, it's a process. First you have to see everything they have. Then you have to figure out the best strategy against the team. Then you have to execute against the team. And then you have to react to them reacting to your new strategy. And sometimes, it just takes a while to break through these matches. And then once you do it once or twice and you believe you can do it, that's kind of how you get your traction. I remember running into teams when I was playing on the tour, and you play a certain team and you haven't seen them, you don't know their style, and you get crushed, and then you come back, do a little better the next time, and the better you are at the chess part of this, the quicker you can turn those matches over.
Nice stretch off the left court.
Got it.
And it's the right shot. He absolutely drilled him. Maybe it's a little bit debatable, but when you have somebody that's, moving back, I think you talked about this in our last match. You teach, go at the feet, go at the ankles. They're just in the wrong spot, and so naturally, sometimes people think you should hit away from that person to the open court. But
Gregurovic is not happy right now. He's not happy.
And that last volley, it's the threat of Guillermo Nunez.
Exactly.
I mean, you can hear him stopping, coming to the net, and it's little big feet, but it makes that volley that much more difficult. And it just was the wrong time for Tommy G to, get put in that position. So here's some of the in-progress set 2 statistics from court director. Haven't had a lot of sudden deuce games. Early in this set, I think as the match develops, some of the statistics are going to sort of tell the story.
Yeah, we've only had one so far in the first set.
Yeah, big shout out to Evan, our producer from Pro Flight this week, giving us all the stuff to make us look like we know what we're talking about.
Right, Evan, nice job today. Tough conditions, got a lot of different weather in here, so well done.
That's a newer look there from Nunez.
Yes. He's getting bored hitting the same 6 types of shots. He needs a 7th or an 8th. But you can see, and as great as these guys are, they're struggling to get these balls back. And sometimes we talk about the utility of, like, at the high level, how much energy you use to hit these big spin shots, and how good most people are at defending them. So at what point doesn't make sense. And I kind of feel like Alvey is not using any energy at all with his overheads. You mentioned it, that he's hitting them flatter and he's a little bit more open. So he's choosing to be more conservative. But when you have the weapon like Nunez does, I mean, he just keeps going, and these guys they can't get comfortable to lob well enough, often enough. Right, there's the best lob we've seen in a long time. And it created some movement. Reset, start over again.
Yeah, start over. Take your medicine. Just unbelievable hands there. But Ostojic made his play. Didn't work. Very cautious, he just moved back. Wow. We're getting close to the limit of drop shots in the single point.
I think so. I said it in the first set, I'll say it again. These guys are having fun. Alvaro and Guy, they're feeling it. You know what that means. They're letting everything come out.
Yeah, Guy, great addition to the tour. Chilean by origin, played college tennis at TCU, I believe. So yeah, this is just a lot of racket skills. Really nice shot. Crowd's definitely into it. The beer's flowing at Ridgewood tonight.
7:26 on a Saturday evening. The weather has made a full 180-degree turn. This is probably perfect paddle weather. It's 32 degrees out there. Doesn't look like there's much wind blowing, just a little bit. Court's dry.
Mentioned the APTA Tour goes to Boston next week for the Grand Prix, then Indy, then to Short Hills, one of the highlights of the season, another Grand Prix, then to Cincinnati, and then March 6th through 8th, Summit, New Jersey. We head to Nationals.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Steve, because also coinciding with the Open Nationals this year will be the Masters Nationals. So when they will be hosted at the Indian Trail Club, we're hosting the 50s, 60s, and 70s Master Nationals for both the men and the women. APTA, we made a conscious decision to try to bundle these together. It's a little bit of an experiment. We'll see. There's some people who may like to play both tournaments, but we're going to try to combine them, try to kind of revive the age tournaments a little bit, and join the party in Short Hills once we're done up north. Did I say Short Hills? I meant Canoe Brook. Join the
Canoe Brook, yeah, Canoe Brook. No, the APTA has done a great job. I like that idea personally. Just a lot of different options. Obviously, the PTI system, call it our version of a handicap system, brings a lot of different opportunities for people at all levels to compete. Not only like at your level, there's also team nationals, which is probably a highlight of the year for a lot of people, where you can, nice point there, good spot. Alvey had moved forward and sort of in no man's land there, so
yeah,
right spot to put his feet. All right, here we go, sudden deuce.
Wow. Another body shot on sudden deuce.
Yeah, another body shot. You could almost see Ostojic moving ahead of time. He didn't react. I think he'd already taken a step, and not sure if Alvey saw the movement or that. Really huge forehand there. But yeah, team nationals, the Masters Nationals, I like all the different opportunities. I'm going to try to play an event in Short Hills in a couple weeks that's 95 plus and 10 PTI. So yeah, different combinations. It's just more and more people that get into events. It's such a social game, and we talk about all the volunteers and all the tournament directors do. with food and beverages and entertainment. You know, we've had bands and DJs at some of the events this year. Yeah, it's just a great, you know, continuing innovation and growth of the sport by the APTA.
That shot looked familiar.
Yeah.
Guillermo anticipating that and stepping in front, going right behind Ostojic. You can see a little bit of the energy draining out of Gregurovic. He feels a little hopeless at this minute. Let's see if these guys can rally or not. Such relentless pressure coming out of Regalado and Nunez. That serve looked long to me, but maybe I missed it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Like, staring him down, it was sick. Staring him down like he meant to do it. The ball just hung on the net, dribbled over, but that's the confidence in movement sometimes. I'm not sure that was the move for Regalado.
Well,
it was probably not the right move, but he just felt it, and yeah.
I think he had a 6.5% chance of success with that approach, and he got it.
Yeah, a little more statistics. 61% of the points. Obviously, it doesn't seem big. Obviously, the scoreboard's 4-1. It is a bit of a, you know, starting of distancing themselves. So this this is just, you know, I've said it before. It's a little bit of the kryptonite for Gregurovic and Ostojic, but yeah, really high level. Regalado and Nunez are just bringing everything they have to defend, and yeah, just all the talent in the world. There's a lot of different ways to get a nick, and that's a frustrating way.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they say. These guys are playing so loose, so comfortable that, you know, luck is going to favor them right now. Nunez just waiting for that ball to happen. We always pose these questions to each other, Steve, but I'm not sure you're going to have a good answer to this one. Is there anything they can do right now to change this momentum? What can happen? You know, is it, we talk about slowing the game down, slowing the points down, switching sides, giving a different look. Is there anything that you're noticing that might be able to change some of this?
Yeah, it's tough to say. You know, we talk a little bit about strategically before a match, thinking about where the spots are, where the weaknesses are, coming up with some tactics of where you're going to play points. They're not getting any help, right? There's no weak spots. I mean, at this level, there's generally no weak spots on the court. Nunez and Alvi Regalado are giving them almost nothing. You know, Gregurovic and Ostojic have played a really sort of sneaky floating eye at times. You know, they did it a little bit in the first set that is sometimes difficult to play against, but yeah, at some point, it's not easy to find a way to win the point, right? Going bigger isn't necessarily a recipe for success. It's probably an acceleration to the finish line, right? That's a shot.
Just like that.
Yeah, you don't pull the trigger on that, but at some point you feel that you should press. And it's almost the kiss of death, right? When you overthink trying to win points, and Paddle's that weird game that it's almost not about winning points, it's about not losing points. But
for sure.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have an easy answer. I don't have a good answer. This is a lot to overcome.
No, I'm certainly not trying to corner you there, because I was thinking the same thing myself. You know, sometimes there's no answer. Sometimes you just, you know, we talk about this too, is waiting around. You know, you wait around maybe for a small change, a lead court winner that changes the momentum. You know, you can never give up, and maybe it's not the strategy, and maybe it's not your day, but I've seen many matches turn. I mean, we're getting very late here, and it's probably not likely, but you can't give up, and paddle momentum changes probably, and there you go. You got one ball that goes wide right there. Who knows? But you got to stick around. You got to keep playing the points.
Yep, I agree. I like that. The momentum swings in paddle are just super unique, and they come. You know, they don't always come, but they come more often than not. So yeah, I like Anthony the idea. Sometimes you just have to stay around, stay in the points, give yourself an opportunity. Energy can change, momentum can change, luck can change. I mean, this is a team with all the talent in the world, and yeah, 2 loose shots.
There you go, 2 loose overheads. I do speak a little from experience. I can't tell you how many times I played matches where I lost the first set handily, down in the second set, and you don't know what to do. You can't change we don't know what the strategy is. We don't know what we're actually going to do when we just stick around. You just stick around. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Sun deuce.
Sun deuce. Yeah. And I we've seen that a few times. You could argue that Tommy Gregurovic has gotten into that same spot on the court, and all 3 times he might have had, he's just got to get that over the net. He might have had a chance to go around the post, and he hasn't pulled the trigger. So
right,
it's a low percentage shot. The ball's got to sort of set up. I think he might have had it a couple times. He's just sort of nice, soft, high cross-court lob, give himself a chance to retreat, give Ostojic a chance to sort of prepare for what's coming next. So yeah, it's that lefty overhead just getting eaten up in the corner.
Yeah, and that's 2 quick points. One mistake on the drive, and then a well-placed overhead. So. Mini payback, just exchanges some smiles. It's just a really good shot and difficult to defend. I mean, there's no place, like you said earlier, there's you don't try to find the best place to put the ball. You find the least worst place to put the ball.
At this level, for sure. Yeah.
At this level, right? It's just, everything's dangerous. You just try to find the least dangerous spot on the court. And in that exchange, I mean, you have to go at their feet. That's the only place that the paddle's not going to be out in front of them where they can take advantage of it.
Here we go. 2 relatively quick games. You can see there's that point differential shrinking. Was a 61% advantage down to 54%. It almost seems, Anthony, like Gregurovic and Ostojic brought a little bit more energy, a little bit more pace to some of their shots, and 2 or 3, maybe 4 looser, not typical mistakes from the other side of the net. And now you grind, and it's back to a winnable set.
I think mentally, in following with what we were talking about, momentum swings and just how loose and easy Guy and Alvi are playing, is keeping up that level of perfection is nearly impossible. And, kind of to the point of sticking around long enough, like at some point, and, these guys are as tough as it gets, but at some point they're going to miss a shot, they're going to miss a second shot or something like that. It's just really hard to hold that focus for so long, for so many shots.
And they have, in the last handful of games, they have been switching at the baseline. So that, you know, attacking that we thought was happening in the first set with Tommy G in the ad court, they've now switched as much as they can to get Tommy G in the deuce. And whether or not it makes a huge difference, it does give the other team a different look, right? And sometimes, you know, it gives you a different feel and different look as well. The way you're coming at the ball, you know, whether, you know, it looks like they've done this pretty intentionally.
Where's that?
Patient until you pull the trigger. They've been waiting for that right shot. There they go. Early point switch.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that was the textbook play. Good lob. Open up the forehand. Hope the ball drops in front of you. Drive it cross court to the low part of the net.
They are making it a little bit tough on themselves. That's a nice deep lob there, but for the most part, Nunez is a step or two inside the service line, hitting most of these overheads. Oh, how'd he get that? How'd he get it?
You had two
If you
swings
swing,
at it.
yeah, if you swing and miss, that doesn't count, huh?
It does not.
Just stays with it. Great move there by Ostojic.
And I think that is the difference here. Is the only difference now with these guys on switching sides is you do have Gregurovic's backhand in the middle of the court where Ostojic wasn't really taking that shot, and Nunez misses it after a very long point.
There they go.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to put it there.
Yeah, I mean, that ball just came so low. It was tough to get up in the air. Yeah. This is it. Like, it's the danger zones more than the
Yes.
the areas that you can get advantage from it, and that's yep.
Few mental mistakes there. Big point.
Yeah, he's giving himself a lot of tough digs. He's got to find a way to lob deeper. Yeah, it's a good spot, but a very good defensive overhead volley from Guillermo Nunez.
Changing sides again. very purposefully. I'd almost like to see Gregurovic pinch that corner a little bit more and expose his backhand, because he keeps, like you said, he's finding it hard to get that ball that's moving away from him, get a good lob on it.
Yeah, just much more patience from Gregurovic and Ostojic in these last few games.
Definitely waiting to see who blinks first in this point.
Yeah, who's under more pressure here? The net team or the team that's back?
I mean, I think Ostojic and Gregurovic just know that everything they do from this point on has to be very, very purposeful as far as what they're going to do there. I don't know if that means it's pressure, but you can see they're forcing Alvaro and Nunez to be less creative on their overheads, right? We're not seeing as aggressive overheads right now, except for that one. And eventually these guys may get tired of, right? They might start being more creative and trying to end the point. So that's why I think we're just waiting to see who's going to blink and maybe overhead and overhead, or try to put something a little bit better than they should.
Yeah, what a dig.
Great
This
dig.
is sort of what I see is, that's a nice, a little bit deeper lob, but they're giving Nunez, at some point, he's going to pull the trigger in a way. Oh, just missed. What a point.
Yes, when he's not hitting the ball, moving backwards, he's just can do anything he wants with it. Great game.
Yeah, really, really good game. I think Gregurovic and Ostojic played a really good game as well. So
They did.
yeah, they're right there. Obviously, there's nowhere to hide. 3-5. Yep.
Yeah.
Just so fast.
Nunez is definitely he's seeing his cocktail after the match at this point. He wants to be done with it.
Yeah, great communication, great sort of tactical play when that ball is going to Nick, right? You got to communicate. You need to move forward. Your partner needs to cover the center. Obviously, Regalado is very well conditioned to know where to go, and that's just, again, not deep enough, and Alvi Regalado just putting a lot of spin on that ball.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but Nunez tried to jump his line on 3 different of the overheads, so he's really looking to hit anything he can get his paddle on. It's a lot of pressure. That one just crept along.
All right,
Triple.
double. Oh yeah, triple, right? So we got the
Triple.
sudden deuce.
I know, I almost forget that. Triple, and there it is.
It's just a clean match.
It's a great
really
clean
high
match.
level. Yeah.
Nunez and Regalado aren't going to give you much to work with, and we saw that the whole way. It's hard to have a really solid game plan that can neutralize these guys. So, great match. They played well. They ran into a buzzsaw, and Nunez Regalado.
Yeah, so the champions of the Ridgewood Classic. We go next week to Boston. Yeah, you see some of the statistics here from, court director. Obviously, the sudden deuce didn't make a big difference today. Here's the time of the set, pretty, stable. And overall in the match, yeah, so 57-43 on the point differential, and only 2-1 on sudden deuce. So that wasn't a big part of the game. Yeah, it was a clean match. I thought they played really well. Any final thoughts from you, Anthony, before they do the trophy ceremony here?
I think that wraps it up, sums it up very well.
Yeah, so that's a wrap from us at the Ridgewood Classic. We will be back, YouTube and the APTA, at the Boston Open Grand Prix next weekend. See ya.
So long.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.